I just said to Mark, I'm going to do a vlog. I normally tell him that so he doesn't come bowling in. And he said, what about? And I went, you know me, whatever comes up. And the vlog, the short vlog I made last night was really just an off the cuff on the way home from town. We'd gone in for a son et lumière at the Abbey, which was not how I'd imagined. I don't want to be ungrateful for the free entertainment that we're given all through the year if we choose to take it. But it wasn't how I imagined it would be, and I hadn't got close enough really to film it properly. I did film it from my viewpoint, which was a bit difficult, and plus it was all in French, which for most of you that would not, you wouldn't understand it. I didn't understand it because it was a bit quiet where I was standing. I did upload it, but it just wasn't worth publishing, so I didn't publish. So I then decided to record some of the Christmas lights on the way home, which were few, as you saw, but I thought you might like to see them. So that's why it felt a bit as if it was in the middle of something else going on, because it was. I'm still not well. I tested myself this morning because I was talking to Jo, and we're getting closer and closer to when she comes over for Sunday, coming over on Sunday, which is New Year's Eve. And I tested myself after speaking to her because I'm feeling rough. Woke this morning at about 7 o'clock, really, really coughing. And I find that getting a throat lozenge and sucking that, and then I went back to sleep with that sort of stuck to the roof of my mouth. And it really helps because it just keeps a little bit of saliva going. And I remember that from 1968 when I'd got, I think it was back then, it was Hong Kong flu. And that was another illness, another virus where you were just coughing constantly. And Mum bought us in a boiled sweet, which sounds really an odd thing to do, give someone a boiled sweet at night so they can choke on it. But I didn't choke on it, and I didn't choke on the lozenge, and I went back to sleep, and I didn't get up till just before 10. I was laying there for quite a while thinking about getting up. So yeah, I'm not well, but tested myself and I'm negative. So I'm really pleased about that whatever I still have or have on top of or afterwards is either a throat infection. I had a temperature this afternoon. I felt really shitty. I took tablets, so I don't feel quite so shitty now. But I was running a temperature. And I'm still putting drops in my eyes for the conjunctivitis. I have to do that for 7 days, and the conjunctivitis can cause a sore throat. So it could be that. Don't know. But I just don't feel well. I wanted to go out this afternoon up to the shops just to buy some salad because they don't have any. And Mark said to me about an hour ago, do you want to go? And I went, no, I don't feel well enough. And I don't feel well enough to go out. And actually yesterday evening was well enough to go out and felt relatively well, although we did get cold. We were out for about an hour. So I felt well enough then. So it sort of comes and goes. It's just irritating. And, we've worked out that we've been sort of struggling with what we've been struggling for weeks. He had his knee operation at the end of October, and it was possibly 2 weeks later that I fell and quite badly injured my elbow. Luckily didn't break it, but that really knocked me, even though at the time and over the days afterwards I wasn't really aware, but when I look back and then I've had moments of feeling it quite well, I realised that it really knocked me, that my body was really struggling to cope with the after effects of that, struggling to deal with him and help him. And then we both came down with COVID, him after me, so I think he caught it from me. And that's now for me, this particular round of unwellness has been going on for 3.5 weeks. And I'm looking forward to knowing what well feels like, because this is just, I've got used to it, actually. I say it's like, oh God, it's just this, whatever. I've got used to it, but I'd like to be feeling better. I'm sick of it. And he's still clearing his throat all the time. And sometimes he's taken, woken in the night coughing. I don't think he feels as unwell as I feel. His knee's really good. He's doing really well. He goes up and down the stairs, no problem. I don't think he would be able to kneel on the floor or do anything like that. But he is doing really well. He's still struggling a bit to get off the sofa, but using the sofa all the time. So, and that the other day I watched, or yesterday, and I said that looked a bit easier. So that's coming. And he's got his follow-up with his surgeon in a couple of weeks. So it'd be interesting to hear what the surgeon thinks. I'm impressed. He still says that he's very unlikely to have the other knee done. And I guess it depends on how that goes with his new knee. It depends on how that goes, really. But he's doing really well. Somebody not happy with me. Attitude. Somebody not happy with me and my gift don't grift. Talking about Brooke and Rebecca, that they have a Buy Me a Coffee and a Patreon. Do you consider them grifters? And I've answered it because I don't. They work for a living alongside the Patreon and the Buy Me a Coffee. They're renovating their property, bringing up 2 children, and in the past were working before they came to France. The person that he's talking about, I don't recall as having really worked ever for a living, is not bringing up children. If you put Philip to one side. And Brooke and Rebecca are reliant on their YouTube earnings, which are probably quite small, whereas the person that he talks about is earning about 13k a month and has other properties that she could sell to finance her follies. So there's no comparison. But whatever, that's how people feel, isn't it? It's like, that's how people feel, and that's how I feel. Because I express how I feel. Somebody asked me to go to Chateau Unwrapped and express my feelings on there. 1, I really don't want to go on there. And 2, I'm probably blocked because I think I'm blocked from the Chateau Diaries. So even if I did comment, nobody would see it. I'd see it and think I'd commented, but nobody would see it. So, but I don't want to go over there. I don't want to listen to the squealing and the fake pleasure at the crap that comes through. I really don't want to do that. So I won't. What else? I think that's all, actually. I'm going to pause you because there's bound to be something else that I forgot to say. I was going to tell you what I did for lunch. So before I started to feel unwell again, because I got up this morning and I felt reasonably well, I had to use... I'd got salmon out because I wanted fish. So I'd got salmon out defrosted. And I wanted to do mashed potato, but I did it mashing from baked potatoes because apparently that's better. I did that. To be honest with you, I can't tell the difference. It's like mashed potato to me. So I did baked potatoes in the air fryer. And then towards the end of their cooking, I added the salmon en papillote, which is salmon in kitchen parchment. Added that, put that on top of those, cooked that in there. And I put Brussels and chestnuts, fried Brussels and chestnuts because I needed to use the Brussels, and some carrots. And again, I'm on the carrots are beginning to need using again. The Brussels are okay for a bit longer, but again, because I've not been feeling well, I've got fresh food that's not being used. I've got a celeriac that I'm aware I must use it. It's really hard. It's really hard when you're not feeling well enough to create food, to use the fresh stuff and not just go to something simple. I mean, last night I had toast. I'd made that sourdough loaf with my new cloche, and I had toast because that's what I prefer to eat. I'm not I made Mark his turkey and chestnut stuffing sandwiches. I've got enough to do that again for him tonight. I cut up and froze all but one portion of the pork pie because I don't want it. And he can have some of that tomorrow. And so yeah, I'm struggling again with the food. It's irritating. So I really do want to be well by Sunday to be able to do a roast dinner and for Joe to come over. I'm sure I will be. Let's be positive. Let's be positive. I'm sure I will be, because this is bloody ridiculous to carry on like this. What day is it? So it's Wednesday, and it's the 27th. So I guess in the UK people are in that long week of absolute boredom between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. I hate that. I really hate that sort of. It's sort of like you're stuck in the doldrums, and I'm here, so I can't actually comment on how it is in France. But it never feels like that for me in France because we don't have Boxing Day. So on Tuesday everything opens and everything's open as normal. The week will go along as normal, and the shops will be open on Sunday morning, which is New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. It might even be open on New Year's Day. So we do get less in winter of the bank holiday stuff, which is good. So there isn't that. There doesn't seem to be that that need to, fill up your trolleys full of food and bring all the food in as if the shops are never going to open again. I certainly never get that impression now when I'm here. So yeah, I hope that you're enjoying your week in between. I suppose for those of you that are working, it's really nice to have a week off. And I'm not working, and every day for me is a non-working day, and I'm really lucky, and I really appreciate it and acknowledge that that's not the same way for other people. So I hope you're having a nice Christmas, or whatever you call today, a nice post-Christmas Wednesday, and that you're well. I wish you health and happiness and peace.